Have you ever just stopped, looked around, and felt like the world isn't quite what it seems? Like maybe there's a hidden layer to our existence that's operating just out of sight? Well, today we are diving deep into a completely radical framework of reality. This explainer is going to challenge pretty much everything you think you know about the universe, your own body, and your mind. So buckle up because we're about to explore the idea of escaping the holographic game.
Let's start with a really provocative question that this whole philosophy poses right out of the gate. What if your free will is actually an illusion? Think about it. What if right now, while you absolutely believe you are making independent, conscious choices, you're actually operating within a highly controlled, engineered environment? It completely flips the script on what it means to be human.
And that leads us to this striking concept. The most effective captivity in the universe isn't built out of iron bars and concrete, no. The absolute worst prison is the one without walls. Because logically, if you don't even know you're locked in a cell, you are never, ever going to try to escape. You just accept the parameters of your daily existence as absolute reality.
So according to this cosmic framework, you aren't just a regular person living an ordinary life on planet Earth. Instead, you are currently navigating a highly sophisticated, completely invisible matrix. It is literally a game of cosmic proportions. So the big questions are, how does this massive game actually work? And more importantly, how on earth do you win it?
That brings us to Section 1, the holographic prison game and its rules.
So this theory defines our reality not as solid physical matter, even though it feels solid when you knock on a table, but as a simulated electromagnetic training ground. We are supposedly living inside a matrix composed entirely of frequencies. It is quite literally a hologram. And it functions as that wall-less prison we just talked about, but with a very distinct underlying purpose, the spiritual evolution of souls.
Now, like any complex game, this one comes with some very strict rules. First off, to even play, you had to agree to forget how incredibly powerful you truly are. Makes sense, right? If you remembered your divine, infinite nature, the game would be way too easy. So you're thrown in and faced with engineered obstacles, surrounded by what you might call non-player characters. And the whole system is supposedly managed by administrators, entities referred to in this theory as Azimos and Amos.
You might be wondering, why would anyone agree to this? Well, the theory suggests that endless perfection actually causes profound stagnation. As infinite souls, we willingly opted into this chaotic, difficult simulation because a universe made of only peace, light, and perfection eventually just leads to total boredom. We literally needed the friction. We needed this intense challenge to continue evolving, so we actively chose to be here.
Let's move on to Section 2, the illusion of the five senses, or the invisible walls.
This is where things get really wild. We are told that our biological eyes can only perceive about 1/1000th of the actual electromagnetic spectrum that is present in our reality. Think about that number, 1/1000th. Our physical brains are just decoding this impossibly tiny sliver of data and projecting it as the solid 3D world we think we see. We are practically blind to the vast majority of the universe that is actively operating right in front of us.
To understand this, you have to separate the avatar from the player. This framework uses a brilliant technological metaphor. Your physical body is just a biological computer. Your DNA is merely the hard drive that stores the operating system. But you, the real conscious you, are the player. Your soul is the CPU, the pure, limitless energy that is actually directing this whole physical experience from the inside out. And that leads to this core assertion. The five senses of man are the four walls and the roof of the prison. The philosophy argues incredibly firmly that if you exclusively trust what you can see, touch, smell, taste, and hear, you are actively choosing to stay locked inside your cell. Those senses aren't there to show you the whole truth. They are specifically designed to limit your perception to this one specific dimension.
Okay, on to Section 3, the trap of linear time and how it loops our pain.
In this model, time isn't a straight line moving from past to future. It's a cyclical loop designed to trap your energy. When you dwell on a past trauma, even if it happened 40 years ago, or if you constantly fear future events, your subconscious mind honestly cannot tell the difference. It tricks your biological computer into suffering that exact pain right now in the present. The only way to escape this trap is by remaining completely, entirely anchored in the now. You see, the matrix interfaces directly with your subconscious mind. It literally utilizes your old, unhealed memories and your future anxieties to harvest your current emotional energy. As long as you are emotionally tethered to past pain, you are actively feeding the system. So disconnecting from your past isn't just a nice self-care tip for your mental health. In this framework, it is an absolute, mandatory requirement for exiting the game. Now we're getting into the most provocative part of this explainer. Section 4, Deconstructing Societal Constructs, basically looking at the Matrix Code.
Looking impartially at this chart, you can see how this theory completely tears down modern societal institutions. It claims nearly every major structure is designed purely for control and generating low-frequency fear. For instance, it argues that education doesn't enlighten, it programs obedience. It posits that modern medicine maintains sickness rather than curing it. It even frames grand global narratives, like climate change, as fabricated tools meant to exact taxes and exert control. And ancient religions? According to this, they are just manipulated systems designed to keep you looking outside of yourself for salvation.
It's a very familiar sentiment, right? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. This philosophy essentially argues that taxes, media, politics, and ideologies, all of it, are simply the coded bars of your cage. They are purposefully designed to keep you angry, sick, distracted, and above all else, divided from one another.
A massive takeaway here is that as long as you are looking for evidence in ancient texts or relying on politicians or waiting for some external savior to fix things, you are going to remain trapped. You have to stop searching for external sources of truth. You have to realize that your own internal consciousness is the true ultimate source of power.
So how do we get out? Let's look at Section 5, the exit strategy, and how to reclaim your true power.
Now, conventional spiritual advice is actually flipped completely upside down in this theory. Long traditional meditations, sitting in silence for 20 minutes focusing on your breath, are said to actually put you into a hypnotic trance, which makes you highly susceptible to matrix manipulation. Actually, scratch that conventional wisdom. Instead, this theory advocates for what it calls flash focus. Hyper-short, sub-10-second bursts of total, sharp awareness throughout your day. Just quick snaps to keep you awake and untethered from the programming.
And here is the exact 3-step roadmap provided to exit the matrix. Step 1, you have to free your mind by completely letting go of those ingrained societal programs we just talked about. Step 2, radically expand your beliefs and accept that you are, in fact, a multidimensional being. And step 3, shift your emotions. Since your body is a biological computer, your cells are constantly listening to your emotional state. By embodying high-frequency emotions, you are literally rewriting your biological hard drive. The ultimate goal here isn't necessarily to just die and escape into the ether. It's to realize that you have the inherent power to manipulate the hologram to your absolute advantage while you are still playing the game. You must accept that the Matrix exists, stop playing the victim role, and fundamentally shift your mindset. You are no longer the worker bee in the system. You step up and become the programmer of your own reality. By fully accepting that we are limitless, multidimensional energy currently just wearing a temporary biological suit, the illusion immediately loses its power over us. We aren't just solid matter. We are energy. We are sound and silence. We are wave and particles simultaneously. When you truly internalize this concept, the supposed rules of the Matrix simply stop applying to you in the same way. So, based on this entire radical framework of reality, the final choice really is entirely yours. You've now seen the invisible walls, you know exactly what the rules are, and you have the theoretical tools to rewrite the code. So, what's it going to be? Will you stay asleep in the hologram and let the system run your life, or will you wake up, take the controls, and choose absolute freedom? Definitely something to think about as you navigate the Matrix today.